What's going on YouTube? I'm not sure if I'm live yet. Let me know when you guys start to jump in. I think that's what we've got. What's going on, guys? So tonight we are going a little bit early. But we got the end of a couple of games here. We're going to recap, as well as the featured game of the night, which is the Vegas Golden Knights and the Chicago Blackhawks. So we have a couple of pretty good games on. Hi, babe, what's up? And I think we're going to skip the rest of the Tampa Bay Lightning Anaheim Ducks game. It's 4-0 in favor of the Lightning, and that's probably not anything too surprising at this point. There's a couple of pretty good games on tap, though. If you take a look, we're going to go over a lot of different topics today. We're going to go over the race for Conor Bedard. There's a couple of interesting names for Conor Bedard, but usually it's the tank for Bedard, but there's a couple of different ones I've heard out there. I want to hear your guys' thoughts as well. We're going to take a look around the NHL. Around the NHL tonight and some of the scores, what they mean for the playoff races for each of the conferences. A latest update on the Vladislav Gavrikov situation. It sounds like Vladdy Gavrikov is on his way to a team in the Eastern Conference. Stay tuned for that. We're also going to take a look at Luke Schenn being a healthy scratch. I know it's not the most exciting news, but Luke Schenn has been listed as a healthy scratch tonight for the Vancouver Canucks. He will not be playing, and we expect that to be because of a trade that will be coming in the next few days. Also, we are going to take a look at the AHL's Outdoor Classic here for 2023, as we have the jerseys were revealed earlier tonight, and we will review those as well. Hey, what's going on? Jesse Slade, Buffalo Sabres. Hi, baby. That's my girl, Ange. Shaka, hey, Goal Line Hockey. Just wanted to check in before I eat. I'll be back at 10 to 20. That's perfectly okay, Shaka. Welcome to you guys coming in here. Make sure, if you are not subscribed, make sure to subscribe to our channel at Goal Line Hockey, as well as also make sure to check out our Twitter and Instagram, and those are above me. Goal_hockey is our Twitter, so if you want the latest on our live streams for that night, is Kevin live streaming tonight? You'll find out at the quickest time from our Twitter. We're also watching another game tonight, kind of an interesting game in Newark, New Jersey. A big game the other night for the New Jersey Devils beating the Winnipeg Jets, but things are not going so well tonight. A 3-1 lead for the Montreal Canadiens on the road at the Prudential Center. And the Devils are wearing their jerseys, and maybe that's part of the reason they are struggling tonight. And for the first time ever, guys, we are coming to you from Streamlabs, and I'm hoping that that's going to improve the quality of our live stream tonight. So, of course, as we get into the stream and as we get closer to 9 o'clock, I want to get some feedback on how good the audio is, how good the mic is, and as we kind of get into this thing, as we are continuing to test this new software for the live streams. Oh no, and Dawson Mercer, no goal. Uh-oh, things are getting a little bit aggressive there in Newark. Like I said, 3-1 lead. The Detroit Red Wings and the Washington Capitals. Detroit leading Washington 2-1. So the Capitals struggling a little bit here in those stadium jerseys. Their Stadium Series game jerseys. And unfortunately, the result is not better, though. They are losing this game 2-1 over the Red Wings and getting pretty outshot. Only 12 shots through the first 40 minutes of play. And like I said, guys, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to like the video on YouTube. That really helps us out here at Goal Line Hockey. He's going to get more attention to our stream tonight. So I might as well run through the latest around the NHL. We'll go through the scores first, and then we will get into some of our topics as we get some of you guys starting to come in to the chat here tonight. So we're going to start off with the first game. Like I said, Tampa Bay, a 4-0 lead over the Anaheim Ducks. The Ducks showed up the other night against Florida and decided not to show up tonight. It's the second of a back-to-back down there in Florida, so this isn't to be completely, this isn't the most shocking thing here from the Anaheim Ducks, but shout out to Tampa Bay for taking care of business. We already talked about the other two. The St. Louis Blues continue to lose. The Carolina Hurricanes riding that momentum from the game the other night outdoors with a 3-1 lead over the St. Louis Blues. The Toronto Maple Leafs making a statement tonight in Buffalo with a 4-0 lead over the Buffalo Sabres. The first intermission, it is a 0-0 tie between the Los Angeles Kings and the Minnesota Wild. That's a pretty big game in the Western Conference. The Vancouver Canucks and the Nashville Predators. The Predators lead 1-0 after one, with a 1-0 lead over the Chicago Blackhawks, as I expect a pretty interesting game here for Patrick Kane as he makes his trying to make his reasoning for why he should get traded to Vegas, as Vegas is rumored to be one of the teams in on Patrick Kane. So as we're taking a look here throughout the league, let's take a look at this game. The hockey world, and we're going to start off with the AHL Outdoor Classic jerseys. Of course, you guys know I love my jerseys, and that is no different here. The AHL Outdoor Classic will be held in First Energy Stadium, home of the Cleveland Browns. This is an NFL venue, and we already saw some hockey outdoors on this rink earlier this year. The Ohio State Buckeyes and the Michigan Wolverines met outdoors in a college hockey Big Ten hockey game. It was a pretty good game overall. Two brothers were playing each other. That was one of the bigger storylines. And now we get to see another game outdoors. The Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins have played outdoors in the past. This is not anything new for that squad. But nonetheless, for the Cleveland Monsters, this is a pretty exciting game for them, as we see some games coming to the state of Michigan as kind of one of the hotbeds of the American Hockey League gets another outdoor classic. Overall, the jerseys, I like the look of the jersey for Cleveland. It's a pretty nice looking jersey, and Montreal just scored to take a 4-1 lead over the New Jersey Devils. Not the game that I think the Devils fans were hoping for, as the Devils fans start to creep in here. Let me know your guys' thoughts on the Devils tonight. It's been a rough night for them, maybe a little bit sleepy after the other night with a big win over the Winnipeg Jets. And give credit to the Montreal Canadiens, as they are sticking it out and playing quite well right now and kind of making the Devils look silly in those already pretty awful black jerseys. So as we were talking about the look and a new look for the Lake Erie, or the Cleveland Monsters as they're called nowadays. Very nice look. The Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins, though, kind of take the cake with this one. They released their jersey. It's a yellow/gold looking jersey, and it's got a new version of the skating penguin. He's got a toque on, he's got a scarf, and it looks very cartoonish, which I guess fits for an outdoor environment. Really nice looking jersey, and something that honestly I think is a win. I think that the road team tonight took home the quote-unquote the best looking jersey going into this outdoor classic, and that game will be, I believe, March 4th of 2023. Also, an update on the Devils game. I guess they didn't like the 4-1 lead for the Habs, so all of a sudden, the Devils scoreboard decided to make the Devils be winning this game 3-2, and I guess they weren't too happy with the Habs scoring that goal, so I don't know what that's all about. So let's take a look at what you guys are saying. What's going on, guys? Make sure to like the video. PJS, how's it going, PJ? Weed and Wrestling, big supporter of the channel. You comment a lot. What's going on, brother? Don't laugh at me, but I think Conor Bedard is going to end up like Jack Eichel once he's in the league. overhyped and underperforming. Interesting take there from Weed and Wrestling. But we'll see how things go. I think that's kind of an interesting thought. Something that could very easily be a reality here. I think Conor Bedard is one of those guys that, is very hyped. We haven't had a lot of guys with this amount of hype in a very long time, and it's really been Conor Bedard is the last example of that. This is someone that, in the NHL today, a lot of people want to take a look at Conor Bedard as the next generational talent. And there is a high amount of expectation when you start to do that to some of these players. But this is obviously something that, again, I think a lot of it's going to depend on where he ends up too. If he ends up on a team that's not very good, that's probably going to play a little bit into how things end up in his NHL career. Update in Toronto or in Buffalo. A pretty good start for the Toronto Maple Leafs. A 5-0 lead here for the Leafs before the end of the second period. A really, really good game. And Buffalo, in front of their home fans, not putting out too well tonight at home. So, yeah, let's talk about Conor Bedard a little bit as we start to talk about... I want to hear some of your guys' best hashtags for Conor Bedard, because some of them, usually it's like... fail for today. So I think it's two different conversations we need to have. So the first one is, who is going to finish 32nd in the NHL standings? Who's going to finish last? And I agree with you. I think it will be the Columbus Blue Jackets. But who ends up winning the lottery is a different pick for me. I think who is going to actually win the lottery this year will end up being, and I know this might not be the most popular opinion, but I'm going to be going with the Arizona Coyotes. I know, I hear you guys booing me already. Conor Bedard to the Arizona Coyotes, as the Arizona Coyotes will win the first overall pick. Whether the Illuminati or Gary Bettman or anybody involved maybe has a say in maybe a push for the Coyotes to get that first overall pick, that's to be determined, but I ultimately think the Coyotes will finish with the first overall pick. But I think there is still some good news here for the Blue Jackets, as I do think they will end up selecting Adam Fantilli, who is currently playing at the University of Michigan. So this could end up being not such a terrible thing for the Blue Jackets, but I ultimately think they will come up short in the Conor Bedard sweepstakes. PJ says, hashtag Bedard Mania. That's kind of an interesting... Honestly, I think that's better than go to bed for Bedard. I think it's just too long. And I understand the point, but it's too long. It doesn't really work. And something that I don't think is really a great fit. Guys, some of you that are in here, let me know the quality of the video. How is it tonight? Is it a little bit better? Can you see me pretty clearly? Let me know down below. And how's the audio? Is it too loud? Is it too quiet? Let me know in the comment section down below. So we're finishing up the second period between the Leafs and the Sabres, and to this point, yep, that's it. So the Leafs with a 5-0 lead on the road, and we know that the Maple Leaf fans show up on the road. So I imagine this is sort of a half home game for the Toronto Maple Leafs because they usually end up filling out the stadium there in Buffalo. So 5-0. Wow, pretty big statement there in the Atlantic Division. The Carolina Hurricanes with a 4-1 lead in the third period against the St. Louis Blues. Everything is good. Thanks, PJ. I appreciate it. Let me know down below, guys, what do you think of Conor Bedard? Where do you think he will end up getting drafted? So I think that's going to be a very interesting topic, and we're actually going to run Tankathon tonight in a little bit. I want to see some of you guys coming in here, getting the likes up, and we'll start to do our Tankathon. And I'm not going to necessarily say when we're going to do our next live stream. I don't want to confirm it, but expect some live streams this weekend if you are interested in staying tuned for some of our live streams moving forward. Expect maybe a mix of Friday, Saturday, and or Sunday. Overall, I think that the rest of this week it might be quiet, but I'm going to try and do the best I can. Expect Friday to be our next live stream. And of course, if you follow us on Twitter at @goal_hockey, I will give you guys the latest updates on that. So what did PJ say? What if Vancouver won the lottery? Oh, man. See, I think what's going to happen in Vancouver, whether they win or lose the lottery, I would place bets on the city burning down, because no matter what happens, they're either going to be so overly happy or so overly pissed that they didn't get Conor Bedard. So either way, I would bet money on the city of Vancouver rioting on the night of the draft lottery, whether they win or lose. And shout out to Carolina's goaltender. He's wearing red pads. It's kind of an interesting look. It definitely matches with the jersey they're wearing, but is definitely pretty interesting nonetheless. And this is a big game for the Nashville Predators. They currently have a 1-0 lead in their matchup over the Vancouver Canucks. But the Canucks have played a lot better under Rick Tocchet. I know their record isn't that great with Rick Tocchet, but the team itself is playing a lot better. So that is definitely encouraging for the Canucks fans. Maybe they want to lose more so they can definitely get Bedard. But definitely something to look forward to. Anthony Beauvillier has played very well since the Bo Horvat trade. He's played quite well there. But the Nashville Predators, this is a big game for them if they want to stay in the race at home against a non-playoff team. These are games that if Nashville wants to still be in this thing, they have to win tonight. And they had a really brutal loss on Sunday against the Minnesota Wild, where now the Wild, I think, have 5 or 6 points on them. And that is definitely something that is quite concerning for Nashville. I just don't think Nashville has it this year. I just don't think they are good enough. They've shown some glimpses of talent and what they're capable of, but unfortunately, things just have not worked out for them this season. Yeah, PJ, so what are you saying, PJ? You should do a video on your jersey collection. Yeah, I will definitely be doing that, PJ. Yeah, that's something I think is going to end up being more of an off-season thing. Once we get into the summertime and things quiet down in terms of news and stuff like that, especially after the trade deadline. Maybe after the trade deadline when things are really quiet there for a couple weeks before playoffs. I might actually do that. So I will take your opinion there. And I would like to at some point rank my jerseys, but that's going to take a very long time for me to do. But I will try my best to do that. And Dennis, what's up, Dennis? Don't bury Bedard in Columbus. Listen, my opinion is that Columbus will end up being the worst team in the NHL this season with 32 as their number 32 in the NHL standings, but will not end up getting Conor Bedard. I think the Arizona Coyotes will end up getting Conor Bedard, which that might even upset you even more. But I think Coyotes fans would be quite happy with Conor Bedard and that ownership, and I think Gary Bettman would as well. As I think the other day he actually announced that there is a 30-year agreement where they will lock the Arizona Coyotes into Arizona. So if you expect them to get relocated anytime in the next 3 decades, you might have to put a pause to that. I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the chat. I see a couple of you guys coming in here. If you guys are joining us, make sure to like the video. I really appreciate that. And guys, let me know the quality of the video. How has it been? Is it a little bit fuzzy? Is it clear? Let me know your guys' thoughts. That's going to help me out here as we are now on Streamlabs. So it's a little bit different than what I've been doing already. But I think overall, I think the quality will be better. But of course, I want your guys' opinions down below. Anything you guys want to talk about? Conor Bedard, draft related, the new AHL Outdoor Classic jerseys. What are your thoughts on that? As well as some of the scores around the league. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below. I am listening. What else do we got in here? Arizona, yeah. No roids, just rage. That's a great profile name there. There was absolutely no way Bedard is going to Arizona. Pathetic franchise, not even voted on a new arena. Yeah, you know what? I get what you're saying there, but I think that Gary Bettman, that's one of his babies. He is going to do everything in his power. If he had a say, he would give the Coyotes this first overall pick. He would. Is it what's best for Conor Bedard going to Arizona? Probably not. But listen, he's a young teens, early 20s kid going to ASU isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world. Just saying. I wouldn't mind playing at ASU in my mid-20s, early 20s, teens. Just saying. That's my thought, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below. Why are my Devils losing to an AHL lineup and the video is good? Yeah, the Devils are not playing well. You know what? I think the thing with Montreal is they have a couple of really good pieces in there already. But what you have to remember with the Habs is they do have some good players. Nick Suzuki's there. Josh Anderson, some people love him, hate him. He's a pretty good player. But yeah, this is a game that the Devils are probably going to be kicking themselves for not winning this game. This is a definitely, after a great statement win over the weekend, kind of a disappointing flat effort here from the Devils. Video is good. Thanks, Dennis. PJ said, is that a Flames Blasty jersey on your door? Very interesting question. And no, it is not a Blasty jersey. Let me pull it down for you guys. So actually, I'm from New York, and this is an FDNY jersey. So it is not a Calgary Flames jersey. I have people in the city ask me, is that a Flames jersey? No, there's FDNY badges on it. It is not an FDNY jersey. But from this vantage point, I can understand why you would think it's a Flames jersey. I do actually have the Blasty jersey. It is a very nice looking jersey. The black version, their 2020 reverse retro. Very nice looking jersey, but very good observation there. PJ, no roids, just rage. If he wanted to make Arizona relevant, he would have rigged the Matthews draft to bring him to AZ. And yeah, that is a good point. That is true. But with Toronto, I think he'd be more willing to snub Columbus of the first overall pick than Toronto back in, what was that, 2016 when that draft happened. But yeah, I mean, again, I think the whole Gary Bettman rigging it for Connor McDavid to go to the Oilers and things like that, I think that's always just BS and just people don't like. Nobody would have liked anywhere he could have gone, right? I mean, you can make the argument the last couple years, the Rangers and the Devils have been winning the draft lottery since 2018 a lot, either first or second overall, and I think there's been some frustrations with that. But that's how things work. It's again, there's been no proof of it, and I think at this point, somebody would have came out if there really was some sort of rigging the draft. I remember for the 2020 draft for Lafreniere, they said like Gary Bettman like took a ball and then took another ball, and it's just really stupid. I get why people want to do that because they want to validate why their team didn't win the draft lottery or this team won it over this, whatever. It's all stupid. It really is. It's just people not happy with their team not getting the first overall pick. That's how this works. Dennis said Harvey Pinard is looking good for Montreal. Yeah, I remember in the game he played against the Islanders, Harvey Pinard looked very good in that game. I think that's something that, honestly, and again, this is in my opinion, I think that when you look at a guy like Harvey Pinard, those are the guys that are making things difficult for the playoff teams, right? He's trying to fight his way into the lineup and get a spot for next year. He's playing his heart out. Don't tell him that the Montreal Canadiens aren't making the playoffs. He is giving his best effort every single night. And there's a lot of these guys in Montreal that are fighting for that spot. And in the good graces of head coach Marty St. Louis and the management there with Jeff Gorton and Kent Hughes. Goal for the Nashville Predators, 2-0 lead. Big game for the Nashville Predators right now. They need to win this game. Big game for them. So we'll see how things go. But I think that the Montreal Canadiens, don't look at them as just an easy mark. Despite the AHL lineup they're putting out there, those guys are playing for their lives in the National Hockey League moving forward. And guys, some of you coming in here, thank you for joining the chat. But make sure to give this video a thumbs up to help us out here at Goal Line Hockey and get some more attention out there. What else are you guys saying here in the chat? Guys, I'm answering all your guys' questions. Let me know some of them. Specifically, if you can make it Conor Bedard or draft related. We're trying to keep that as the topic tonight, but I'm answering all your guys' questions. No Roids, Just Rage says, I'm a Blackhawks fan, and the race to the bottom is a dogfight right now. Kind of an emotional night if this is indeed Kaner's last home game at the United Center. Yeah, and that's why that's the featured game tonight, because I do think that, especially with the fact that they're playing the Golden Knights, they played the Leafs the other night. Patrick Kane's trying to sell to the NHL that he is quote-unquote vintage Patrick Kane, the guy that can turn the game on a dime, can score a quick 2 or 3 goals. Some of those goals he scored the other night were vintage Patrick Kane. And yeah, I definitely get that sense from the Blackhawks fans. They had a really great run. Shout out to that Blackhawks team. I just hope that this whole thing recently with the management side of things doesn't end up tainting that dynasty, because it was such a great modern day dynasty. But that's what happens, unfortunately, and that's the sad reality of just the world, that it's not always sunshine and rainbows with things like that. But it sounds like the Blackhawks have been quiet. Rocky Wirtz has duct tape over his mouth and isn't saying anything stupid. So I think that's a benefit for the Blackhawks. Just let this team die gracefully, if nothing else, just for those fans. And if this is his last game at the United Center, obviously it's going to be a very emotional night, and we'll see how things play out. Dennis said, Leafs steamroller over Buffalo. Yeah, I don't even think I'm going to watch the rest of that game. They have just kind of torched them. Shout out to the Leafs with a big statement win over the Buffalo Sabres. I mean, unless somehow Buffalo scores 6 or 7 goals in the third period, safe to say this is a very comfortable game right now for the Leafs. Update in Washington, a 3-1 lead for the Detroit Red Wings, as they are now up by 2 goals. And the Washington Capitals not playing well recently. And Alexander Ovechkin is expected back this weekend. He is returning from Russia. But at the moment, not good news for the Washington Capitals as they continue to struggle to score goals. They ended the first 40 minutes of the game with only 12 shots on net on Detroit, a non-playoff team at the moment, mind you. And shout out to the Red Wings goaltender. He's playing quite well tonight, but Capitals' struggles on offense is because of the lack of Alexander Ovechkin. And anybody out there that's saying that this team can score and continue to thrive without Ovechkin is seeing the exact opposite of that right now. Shout out to you guys coming here. Welcome to the Goal Line Hockey live stream. Shout out to you guys. You guys are the best. And let's answer some more of your guys' questions. None. What's going on, brother? Outside of Long Island, do most New Yorkers root for the Rangers? That's kind of an interesting question. You'd have to ask people from upstate New York. I think the Rangers, considering the fact they are an original 6 team, won a cup in the 90s, they're a franchise that is probably more recognized than most. And I think they're a team that kind of is a global team, are the New York Rangers. And I think that you even go into parts of, Westchester County, Connecticut, there is a lot of Rangers fans. And even on Long Island, there are a lot of Rangers fans. So despite the fact that there are teams in Buffalo and Long Island, the Rangers have a pretty good grasp of the entire state of New York in general. just because of the aura of playing in New York City, in the heart of New York, in Manhattan. There's a huge appeal to the New York Rangers. And like I said, that cup they won in the 90s and 94, that was a huge wave of Ranger fans, and really the last 2 generations or so of Rangers fans, and really the growth of Rangers hockey in the New York metro area. Thank you for the comment, though none. Shaka, welcome back, Shaka, from your little break. Hope the Sharks win the draft or stay at least top 3. Yeah, that is a big thing. I think that Conor Bedard is very likely to go to the Sharks. I think he would be a great fit there. Just the idea of him and William Eklund long term. You might even move William Eklund to the wing. If you bring in a guy like Conor Bedard, that would be really big for the Sharks, as they now, with new general manager Will Greer, Conor Bedard would be a nice, stable piece to that group moving forward. No Roids, just Rage said, I'm just thinking with this whole cap era issue with teams struggling, one way is to put stars in the best markets, and whatever people's feelings are, Chicago would be the best location for Bedard. Yeah, I think that would piss off a lot of people. If the Chicago Blackhawks won the sweepstakes for Conor Bedard,